Hello friends, welcome back to my Emporium and of course my lovely messy desk. Last night I was chatting to a Twitch live streamer, Quirky Creates. Check her out on Twitch. She creates a lot of beautiful cards and paper craft, and I was telling her about the molds and hot glue and what you can do with them, and she asked me if I'd make a tutorial so she could see how it's done. So here we go. So you can use any kind of mold. You can have a soap mold like this one, which is an owl. You can have, polymer clays, chocolate molds, anything that's silicone, because it will come out a lot easier. And you're simply going to heat up your glue gun. Did I remember to plug that in? I did. Lovely. And you're going to fill your molds with the hot glue, let it dry, pop them out, and it's done. Now the secret to doing these is make sure you don't have dirt in them, dust. So I've got a selection of things. We'll just see how they all turn out. And the idea is, and through trial and error I've learned this, is to tap them down to try and level them as much as you can, to try and get that glue into those little crevices and things. Now you may find that you'll have overspill, and they're easy to clean off with your little knife. You can carefully just cut away the bits of glue that are on there, and then you can paint them up. Now I'll show you, I made some for a journal cover that I was doing. Here's a little frame, and I just painted it gold. I painted black just on the inside. I cut out a little bit of embroidery from a vintage napkin and popped it on there, and I think it really looks lovely, and it's not too heavy. Polymer clay works just as well in these molds, but it is a lot heavier than the glue. Here's a little emblem. I'll do one of these today, and so you can put these on cards or on anything that you like. And another little frame here. So I've just painted that in black, and then I've done a gold rub on the outside. I've glued in a little photo, and then I've filled it with the glossy accents to give it like a resin finish. So you can use that for that kind of thing if you don't want to use resin. And you just do it the same. You just fill it up, and I just use the nozzle to fill it up. And then if there's any little bubbles, just to move it around, any little bubbles, I just maneuver them, or I'll get a pin and just move them around so they go off the edge, and then lie it flat overnight, and it'll come out just like it's filled with resin. So it's a very simple thing to do. It's been around a long time from what I understand, but it's just something that I started doing on my own, and I really liked it. So I thought, well, I'll just show you and do a tutorial on it, and you can have a go at it. This is a skull, a bit hard to see I guess because it's the nature of the thing, but there's a skull. Here's a little mermaid one that I'm in the process of painting. These are all just molds, soap molds, these ones, but she's going to be cute. So let's have a look and see what we can do. So here's my glue gun. Is it on? I hope so. Are we? Oh, oh yeah, whoa. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to pump the glue into our mold. A fine tip, precision tip on your glue gun is always good. Now this is the high heat, and it's fine, so just try and do the best that you can. It takes a little bit of practice, and you can see my hands a bit shaky, but that's just how they are. You can steady your hand with your other one, or whatever works for you, it's fine. Now it doesn't matter if you happen to cover over those little divots there, it's fine. Anything that you need to sort out or cut away or whatever, it's very easy to do with this. Now there'll probably be a few bits that I have to top up, but I'm just going to drop that like so. You don't have to worry about bubbles or anything because you're going to paint it, but this is trying to get it so that it's level as you can possibly have it, and then you can see little bits that might need touching up. see a bit over there. Have a look here. Yep, into the tip there. Oh yes, I can see a nice bit there that needs to be touched up. Now if you find one that you've got a little bit missing on it, doesn't matter, because put a bit of bling on there, put a flower on it, whatever you want, you know. It's really up to your imagination. I was probably a bit slow doing this one, so I'm going to have a bit of a messy back. That's okay, because it can be leveled off with the knife or whatever I want to do with it. Oh, I'm standing on the cord, so I don't have the it out from under my foot. There we go. So I was sort of limiting myself as to what I could do then, but nonetheless, it's fine. Alright, we'll put that one aside. Now let's do the frame. Squeeze it through. Going to give it a bit of a tap as I go, because you do have a long way to get through, you know, with the bigger pieces. You might hear my puppy whining in the background because she wants Mummy to pick her up. But Mummy's busy and can't pick her up right now. This is great for, you know, using up any extra leftover glue sticks. Sometimes you can just, like, I've accumulated all different ones, thick and thin ones, but you can also use glitter color ones, you know, whatever you like. It's really up to you. Don't worry about any overrun. It was funny, the last time I used this glue gun, I was making a bed for Tallulah Rose, that's the puppy, and I got one of those egg chairs from IKEA. It was given to me, and so I decided to cover it all in fur and make her a beautiful little bed, which she absolutely loves. But in doing that, of course, you know, you've got the glue gun going the whole time, you can't really stop, and it ended up just like this hairy glue gun. I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I can't go on with a hairy glue gun. So his nickname's Harry, or as the Americans say, Harry. But a bit of alcohol, rubbing alcohol on a swab, cleaned that right up. So that's a little tip for you. If you've got hot glue somewhere that you don't really want it, rubbing alcohol does deal with that for you. So And really, you know, especially with junk journals and vintage things, you kind of, it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect anyway. You're expecting it when you're dealing with vintage things or junky things, that there's going to be some sort of discrepancies in them, you know. They're not going to be perfect. So let's try this one. This is a lot smaller. Smaller they are, the more challenging they are. Just like that. Drop it down, throw it down a little bit, nice and firm, try and settle it in. You can even do a soap mold. Now it takes a bit to fill it, don't be afraid, just do it bit by bit. So I'll start with his eyes and his beak, like so. And it doesn't matter if you can see the layers, because he's going to be painted. And naturally it's going to take a bit longer to dry, to set, you know. I did a whole lot of them a while back, and the next day I woke up and my arm was really sore, and I'm thinking, what on earth have I done to my arm? The muscle's really sore. Then I realised it's like a workout. Much like throwing pottery on the wheel yesterday. Did that for the first time, and my hands and my arms are like, oh my God. It's amazing that the muscles and the pressure and tension you have to put on the clay to make it do what you want it to do, you know. Got a couple of things coming up, a couple of tutorials coming up, and we've got episode 2 of What's on My Desk coming up. Lots of goodies, and be introducing you to some characters that I've created, all sorts of things, so do stay tuned, as we will be doing that. I've got a lovely package from Bonnie and Clive, who are also on YouTube. You should look them up. And Christina's Shack and Crafts from the Dungeon, all friends of mine, all do amazing junk journals, and they also sell on Etsy. But I ordered some, you know, coffee stain paper and bits and pieces, and gosh, it looks lovely. It really does. So you will see that in one of my journals that I'm working on when we do an episode of What's on My Desk, and we do a walkthrough of what I've created. So I will keep that a secret. If you want to see how to do those things, then those ladies do have tutorials on how to do junk journaling, on how to stain paper, how to do jelly prints and all kinds of things, which is what started me on the road to doing journaling and things. And then I've kind of started putting my own feel to it, And I like to see what kind of things I can do that will work with it, which is what started me doing this. I thought, you know, I did polymer clay on journals, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I got one of my inexpensive molds and filled it with hot glue, if it would work, and if it ruined the mold, well, it wouldn't really matter. So I could stick it onto the journal. And so that's kind of what started it. And I said to my friend across from the dungeon, I said, oh, guess what I did? And I did with hot glue gun and blah, blah. And she's like, haven't you ever seen that? Here I am thinking I'm being all new and innovative, and really, as the saying goes, there isn't anything new under the sun. So, though my Moroccan bookmark, like the little lamp bookmarks, it's the first tutorial on here, they're fairly unique, so I'm kind of glad about that. But really, everything's been done in one way or another, you know, and it's just a matter of looking it up. I'll sometimes look up YouTube if I'm not inspired and I'm thinking I really want to do something, but I don't know what. I'm not as inspired as I could be. Then I'll look up some of my favourite crafters, like I've mentioned, see if there's something in there that inspires me to do, and off I go again, you know. Because there really is something special about being creative, you know, in whatever way it is for you. It can be writing, it can be drawing, it can be knitting, crocheting, cake making, whatever it is. It can be just sitting down and drawing think patterns, you know. But whatever releases that creativity in you, it's important. It's the way that the mind expresses itself, and the soul, if you will. Little bit more, little bit. So this one takes quite a bit to fill because it's so thick, but I have made one and I was looking everywhere for where I put it. It's even painted and I couldn't find it, so I'll have to show you that this one finished next time. But you know, if you've got chocolate molds or any kind of molds you can do this with, you know, it's not going to hurt them. It doesn't leave a smell on them or any residue. And if you can see that that's leveling as I'm doing that. It's taking a little longer because I've done it in layers, you know. There we go. Now, did I miss a little bit on there? It looks like I did. Let's see if I can fix that. I can see where it's got a bit missing. These little ones are a bit tricky because they're so intricate, you know. This one's going to need a bit of cleaning up, no doubt. But that's okay too, take your time. It doesn't matter, like I said, you can always find a use for it. Alright, let me just unplug this. You hear my chair creaking. You'd creak and groan too if I was sitting on your lap. Alright, where can I put this safely away from puppies? Let's see, I'll sit it up there. Stay. Right. Alright, so we have our molds filled. Now this one's going to take a while to set and dry. I want to make sure that that's on flat. There we go. How are we going with this one? That's good. So here we are. We've got our glue, and we're just going to peel it out. Sorry, it's a bit fuzzy. Haven't got the lighting down quite right yet, but we're getting there. There we go. See that? And it's just that simple, and the mold comes out perfectly clean. There's our medallion. Just need to clean off a little bit on it. Come on, focus. Focus for me. Wants to focus on everything else on the desk. No, it doesn't want to do it. But you'll see it in a minute when I paint it. So I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do around the edge. Not much. Not much. It's got a little bump on the back there, but I can slide that down, and you can also sand it. So that's a thing as well. And it really is just that simple. And the owl will come out the same. So where's my what did I do with that? It's alright, we'll do it on here. I forgot to get the cutting mat out, didn't I? So I'm just basically cutting around, cutting off any excess. I had to cut off all my nails for pottery. I'm finding it really hard. I'm so used to having them that I'm like trying to grab things and I can't. The sacrifices we make. But I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a 2-hour private class, and I made 2 items that are drying at the moment. So, very pleased indeed. Excuse me. Okay, so look, I'm just going to paint this red, and then I'm going to rub a little gold on it. This is just merely just to show you you know, what can be done. Hello there. Well, you know, we had a little bit of a problem there. For some reason it stopped recording on its own. But that's okay, because I've done a couple of more so you can see the peel, because that's like super fun. I've painted these ones, so they're ready to have the gilding done, and then we're finished. So this will just be a little addition onto the end of the first part. Part 2. So I've got so yes, because you missed out on them being removed from the mold. So last you saw I was tapping this down, so this is ready to come out as well. So here's a little pair of angel wings, and they just peel right out, just like that. So just a minor amount of cleanup around that one. You find that the thinner and smaller ones you might get a little bit of cleanup because it is hard to get the finer details on them. And then we've got the, doesn't that sound good? I don't know if you picked that up or not, but there is our owl all ready to be painted. And it's quite light. You can hear my puppy crying in the background. She wants me to go lie down in the bed. I redid the frame, but it's still drying, so we'll have to leave that, and we'll just move straight on to the gilding. So I've done 2 coats of paint on this one. Now you could do a wash with black or brown paint to age it, or you could do the gilding like I'm going to do. And I rested my glue gun on top of my lid, and so we've got globbies on there. Yes, globbies is a word. So here's my gilding paste, which I love. If you find that this is getting too dry, you just put like a half a cap, or I'd say teaspoon of water in it, put the lid on and leave it overnight. So just the gilding paste, and let it just pick up, just rub it over and let it pick up the bits that are raised. It's like an embossing, you know. And it's just that simple. Oh yes, I know, puppy. You have to wait. Okay, you have to wait for mummy. Now you can, and I have in other ones, you can paint them black on the outside if you want a bit more definition. But it looks really lovely. You can put as little or as much as you want on. You can even do this with paste if you want to. But this is a gilding wax. Here's a little frame one that we did. Doesn't matter if you get it in the middle because you'll have a, don't you touch puppy. It's got a bead. So there's our lovely frame. And this one. So I'll go a bit heavier on, but you know, you can go heavier, lighter in bits. It just depends what kind of wear and tear you want to show it, you know, show on it. So you can see you can go a bit lighter on there, pick it up more heavy. You can do you know, a wash in some areas if you want to take the brightness out of it. All you do is you mix some either brown or black paint. It sounds like, oh my god, no, I can't put black paint over it, but you just have a tissue or something like that, or a sponge, and you just wipe off the excess so that it actually goes in the crevices, you know. So this is very, very royal looking, or you know, Bordeaux. Just depending what you're doing. I will probably do a wash on them and age them up a bit, and then just touch up the gold a little bit. But basically that is all there is to it. Yes, I know, puppy. Finished soon. Nearly finished. And there we have them. And it really is just that simple. You know, you can make them as bright or as dull down as you want to do it. It's a simple process. You're using up your hot glue and you know, whatever sort of molds you've got, or you know, have with soap making or chocolate making or whatever. With this one, I will paint it up and show you, but it's with the last one I just painted it as a white and grey owl, did the eyes black and so on, and it turned out really, really well. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I hope that you'll give it a try and show me some pictures and things. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.